So what is going on, guys? It's Triple G here, back with another Tribes of Midgard video, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the Ranger, the one where the most of the community just isn't quite feeling. However, this is an absolute Fenrir god killer. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel or join us over on Twitch. We stream 5 times a week, and otherwise, let's get straight into this video. So the Ranger is the archer of Tribes of Midgard. It has some really nice movement perks and some decent buffs to his bow and arrow, but there's something just quite missing all the way up until the Fenrir fight. However, if you are fighting Fenrir and you do have a decent bow with some explosive arrows, you can do insane amounts of damage, particularly in co-op where other people might be distracting Fenrir. So let's talk about the skill tree first and where I think it falls down and some things that need to maybe be changed in the future for the Ranger. So obviously when you get to level 2, you're going to unlock the Ranger, and the first thing that you will get is All Step. This will literally walk you backwards as you're firing. Now, this skill is pretty nice, but I don't think it jumps back far enough for you to maintain distance. If you have enemies running towards you, they still reach you. So in the future, I would like to see this come back a little bit, so you take a little bit of a step back further. But also playing into that, the range of the bow isn't great, so you can't go too far. So I can kind of see why they are here at the moment. So the next skill that we're going to get is the movement speed. This is the Haunting Feat. I just love movement speed, particularly as a archer. You can like dance around trolls pretty easily with these movement speed buffs that the Ranger does get. So it is really nice to get that up straight away. The second thing that we're going to take is Raven's Eye. This will allow us to bring our camera out even further and allow us to obtain those targets for our bow and arrow. It is a nice to have. You don't necessarily need it, but I like the next node as well, so that's why we're going there. Then, as we just said, we're going to get another Haunting Feat here for plus 20% movement speed. And then we're going to get Deep Quiver. This will give us a 50% chance to recover arrow shots. Now, these are the special arrows. So your explosive arrows, your explosive lightning arrows, all those types of arrows, you'll have a 50% chance to recover shots. And that is really critical for the Fenrir fight. Really critical. Then we're going to take Charge Shot. Now, you could take this earlier if you wanted to, but Charge Shot basically lets you increase the damage when holding arrows. This is really nice. So you can stand still, hold the arrow, and you will do extra damage. We're also going to be taking Piercing Arrows, so that if you are being chased by a few enemies, you can do a little bit of a circle, then a line, and you'll be able to pierce through multiple enemies, dealing with them quite effectively. One thing I will say about the Ranger is as he gets his skills, he does get a little bit better with dealing mobs, but he's nowhere near as good as dealing with mobs as some of the other characters. Next, we're going to take Slowpoke. This will slow down enemies with melee attacks. Now, I did at one point when seeing this skill try to use the Ranger as a melee character, but it just didn't work. I thought, oh, I'll have movement speed and I'll have lots of melee and I can buff swords in his tree and lightning. So, you know, I'll go with a Baldur's Blaze build, but it just didn't work. It just didn't work. I had to go through too many bow and arrow skills to really make it work, and I just wasn't as good as some of the other classes. Then we're going to take Bow Mastery for a simple 10%. We're then also going to take Thunder Embrace. I really like using explosive thunder arrows. I really like using the Nornir bow as well. So this works really nice for that. And then the final perk is completely up to you. I say it would depend on the Jotun. So Sword Mastery here, if you've had the Thunder Jotun, then you can get the Baldur's Blaze, which is a nice backup for your bow, because the Baldur's Blaze has a nice healing pool on it. So if you are getting rushed, you can, you know, spin to win with the Baldur's Blaze or use the healing pool. The other option that you have is here, the weapon durability. Now, the durability on the bows is absolutely trash. I think it needs addressing immediately. You use far too much durability on the bow. I would actually prefer negating the damage buff that I get on the Ranger just to use the Warden with a bow, because the Warden can actually buff their bow's damage as well. Another honorable mention here is the Dark Embrace. Now, if you did get the Void Jotun, you could get the legendary Void Bow, which has a decent amount of damage and is absolutely perfect for Fenrir because he doesn't resist that. Couple that with some explosive arrows and you do a crazy amount of damage. In terms of armor, I definitely would still recommend the feral gear. That's all you need in order to get yourself into the fight with Fenrir. You can obviously get more gear if you need that added protection. We've already touched on the void bow is a necessity if you want to do insane damage to Fenrir, but don't sleep on some of the other bows as well, matching up the elements. They are really, really good. I recommend the Boulder's Blaze as a backup weapon as well, because you can buff sword damage in this tree. The gameplay loop, you know, it's pretty simple. It's a bow and arrow, so you need to maintain distance in order for you to be effective. Outside of the Fenrir fight, it's okay, but if you get multiple enemies rush you, you need to make sure you're trying to loop them in and pierce multiple at the same time, using your special mana abilities on your weapons to maintain distance. And then in the Fenrir fight, it's an absolute cinch if you're co-op. While everybody else is under there trying to dodge the feet, get out of the way from the howl, you can sit there in a stationary position getting extra damage and absolutely go nuts. You can also go absolutely nuts with the feral kit with this build as well. So you could start with nothing, get a bow, and you get extra damage based on the amount of armor that you don't have on. You could even go into Fenrir with no armor on, your bow, all your legendary gear, and have that extra damage as well. So it's really, really nice. You could also get the rune that gives you extra 20% damage when your mana is full. That way you can just do consistent damage rather than using the special abilities. Although I do really like the AoE on the legendary void bow. Guys, that is it for today's video. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, please consider like, commenting, or subscribing to the channel, or join us over on Twitch. We stream 5 times a week, and otherwise I'll catch you on the flip.